Good morning, student. This is our part 2 for the chapter Manufacturing Industry for class 10th. Now, in this chapter, we are continuing the various types of manufacturing industry which plays a very significant role for Indian economy. Now, why is it important for our country to keep the mill sector loomage lower than power loom and handloom? So, that why for India, which is an agriculture based country, why it is necessary that we have to balance the middle sector loomage, and that it can be lower, but we have to improve our handloom loom power. India export yarn to Japan. Other importers of cotton goods from India are USA, UK, Russia and France, East European countries, Nepal, Singapore, Sri Lanka and African countries. Now, India has the second largest installed capacity of spindles in the world, with 43.13 million spindles after China. Since the mid 80s, the spinning sector has received a lot of attention. We have a large share in the world trade of cotton yarn, accounting for 1/4 of the total trade. However, our trade in garments is only 4% of the world's total. Our spinning mills are competitive at the global level and capable of using all fibers we produce. It means India is capable that we can produce any type of fiber which compete in the international market. The weaving, knitting and the processing units cannot use much of the high quality yarn that is produced in the country. There are some large and modern factories in this segment, but most of these production is in fragmented small units which cater to the total market. This mismatch is a major drawback for the industry. As a result, many of our spinners export cotton yarn while apparel garment manufacturers have to import fabric. Yarn is sold at rates 85 per kg. If it is sold as a trouser, it fetches rates 800 per kg. Value is added at every stage from fiber to yarn to fabric and to garment. It means when it is a yarn and when it is a fiber, then it is become a yarn. Then the price is added, and then when this fiber added to a garment, then it cost more than that particular yarn. Now, why is it important for us to improve our weaving sector instead of exporting yarn in the large quantity? Why the country like India, it is important that we have to improve the weaving sector instead that we export yarn in the other quantity. Although we have made significant increase in the production of good quality long staple cotton, the need to improve is still felt. Power supply is erratic and machinery needs to be upgraded in the weaving and the processing sectors in particular. Other problems are the low output of labor and stiff competition with the synthetic fiber industry. These are the challenges in front of the weaving sector, where we need to improve our weaving sector, but the challenges are that there is erratic power supply and machinery is old and traditional. We need the upgraded machinery to improve our weaving sector, and another is that we are facing a very tough competition with the synthetic fiber in the international market. Now, in the manufacturing industry, the other manufacturing industry which play a very significant role in India is jute textile. India is the largest producer of raw jute and jute goods and stands at the second place as an exporter after Bangladesh. There were about 80 jute mills in India in 2010 and 11. Most of these are located in West Bengal, mainly along the Hooghly River in a narrow belt 98 km long and 3 km wide. The first jute mill was set up near Kolkata in 1859 at Rishra. After partition in 1947, the jute mills remained in India, but 3/4 of the jute producing area went to Bangladesh. Factors responsible for location in the Hooghly basins are. Now, if we are talking about the Hooghly basin, it means we are talking about the factors which are responsible for the production of jute. And first is proximity of the jute producing areas, inexpensive water transport, supported by a good network of railways, roadways, and waterways to facilitate movement of raw material to the mills, abundant water for processing raw jute, cheap labor from West Bengal and adjoining states of Bihar, Orissa, Uttar Pradesh. Kolkata as a large urban center provides banking, insurance and port facility for export of jute goods. So these are the infrastructure, or you can say the important factor which are responsible for the manufacturing of jute. In 2010 and 11, the jute industry was supporting 3.7 lakh workers directly and another 40 lakh small and marginal farmers who were engaged in cultivation of jute and metsa. Many more people were associated indirectly. Now you can see that how significant the jute production, that how many people are employed there at various level, labor and the machinery work and the workers, that so much of employment has been given by the jute production. Challenges faced by the industry include stiff competition in the international market from synthetic substitutes and from the other competitors like Bangladesh, Brazil, Philippines, Egypt and Thailand. However, the internal demand has been on the increase due to the government policy of mandatory use of jute packaging. To stimulate demand, the products need to be diversified. In 2005, National Jute Policy was formulated with the objective of increased productivity, improving quality, ensuring good prices to the jute farmer and enhancing the yield per hectare. The main market are USA, Canada, Russia, United and Arab Republic, UK and Australia. The growing global concern for environment-friendly biodegradable material has once again opened the opportunity for jute products. As we know that nowadays also for a long period of time the jute is in fashion as it is a eco-friendly fiber and it has taken almost so much of place in our day-to-day life and it replaced totally the plastic. Now, sugar industry. Another important significant industry, manufacturing industry in India is sugar industry. India stands second as a whole producer of sugar but occupies the first place in the production of gur and khansari. The raw material used in this industry is bulky and in haulage its sucrose content reduces. Where should the mill be ideally located? Now we are talking about the sugar industry, the location of sugar industry. In 2010 and 11, there were over 662 sugar mills in the country, spread over the Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Gujarat, along with the Punjab, Haryana and Madhya Pradesh. 60% mills are in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. The industry is seasonal in nature. We are talking about the sugar industry. So it is ideally suited to the cooperative sector. Can you explain why this is so? Now the sugar industry is seasonal. It means 6 months they crushes the sugar cane to produce the sugar and for 6 months the mill remain closed. In recent years there is a tendency for the mills to shift the concentrate in the southern and western states, especially in Maharashtra. This is because the cane produced there has a higher sucrose content. The cooler climate also ensures a longer crushing season. Moreover, the cooperatives are more successful in these states. Major challenges include the seasonal nature of the industry, old and inefficient methods of production, transport, delay in reaching cane to the factories, and the need to maximize the use of baggage. Now, mineral based industry. Another industry, manufacturing industry in India is mineral based, the industry which are based on mineral. Industry that use minerals and metal as a raw material are called mineral based industry. Can you name some industry that would fall in this category? So, iron and steel industry fall in this mineral based industry. The iron and steel industry is the basic industry since all the other industry, heavy, medium and light, depend on it for their machinery. Steel is needed to manufacture a variety of engineering goods, construction material, defense, medical equipments, telephonic equipment, scientific equipments, all are made up of iron and steel products. Production and consumption of steel is often regarded as the index of a country's development. Iron and steel is a heavy industry because all the raw materials as well as finished goods are heavy and bulky, entailing heavy transportation cost. Iron ore, coking coal, and limestone are required in the ratio of approximately 4 to 1. Some quantities of manganese are also required to harden the steel. It means when we say that iron and steel, so it doesn't mean that we are using the raw steel or iron. We are mixing so many alloys, so many other metals to make them suitable for the day-to-day life. Where should the steel plant be ideally located? Remember that the finished products also need an efficient transport network for their distribution to the market and consumer. In 2014, with 86.5 million tons of crude steel production, India ranked 4th among the world's crude steel producers. It is the largest producer of sponge iron. In 2014, per capita consumption of steel in the country was only around 60% per annum against the world average of 217 kg. It is the flow chart that how the manufacturing of steel has held. First of all, they blast furnace. Iron ore is melted, limestone is fluxing, material which is added. Slag is removed, coke is burned to heat the ore. Then it converted into pig iron. And what is pig iron? Molten materials poured into molds called pigs. Then steel making. Pig iron is further purified by the melting and oxidizing the impurities. Manganese, nickel, chromium are added into this molten pig iron. Then we shape them. Shaping metal, rolling, pressing, casting and forging. And finally, finished good is transported to the destined market. Now, what is mini steel plant? Mini steel plants are smaller, heavy, have electric furnaces, use steel scrap and sponge iron. They have re-rollers that use steel ingots as well. They produce mild and alloy steel of given specifications. Now, most of the public sector undertakings market their steel through Steel Authority of India Limited sale. In the 1950s, China and India produced almost the same quantity of steel. Today, China is the largest producer of steel. China is also the world's largest consumer of steel also. Chota Nagpur Plateau region has the maximum concentration of iron and steel industry. It is largely because of the relative advantages this region has for the development of this industry. These include low cost of iron ore, high grade raw materials in proximity, cheap labor and vast growth potential in the home market. Though India is an important iron and steel producing country in the world, yet we are not able to perform to our full potential largely due to although India is the good rank in producing the iron and steel, but still we are lagging behind, and the reason of that: first, high cost and limited availability of coking coal. Second reason, lower productivity of labor. Third reason, irregular supply of energy. And the fourth, poor infrastructure. These are the challenges which are facing by the steel and iron industry in India. We also import good quality steel from other countries. However, the overall production of steel is sufficient to meet our domestic demand. Liberalization and foreign direct investment have given a boost to the industry with the efforts to private entrepreneur. There is a need to allocate resources for research and development to produce steel more competitively. Now, aluminium smelting. Another industry which is based after the iron and steel, the another industry, aluminium smelting. Aluminium smelting is the second most important metallurgical industry in India. It is light, resistant to corrosion, a good conductor of heat, malleable and becomes strong when it is mixed with the other material. It is used to manufacture aircraft, utensils and wires. It has gained popularity as a substitute of steel, copper, zinc, lead in a number of industries. Aluminium smelting plants in the country are located in Odisha, West Bengal, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. In 2008-9, India produced over 3.96 million tons of aluminium. Bauxite, the raw material used in the smelters, is a very bulky, dark reddish colored rock. The flow chart given below shows the process of manufacturing aluminium. Regular supply of electricity and assured source of raw material at minimum cost are the two prime factors for location of the industry. So, regular supply of electricity and the source of raw material, these two are the most relevant factors for the location of aluminium industry. Now we will understand the processing of aluminium industry by this flow chart. That how? First of all, bauxite is used as a raw material. Then it is transported rail or ship, and then aluminium. Bauxite crushed and aluminium dissolved out. It is also known as aluminium refinery. Now, first step, bulk ore shipped to site of smelter. Second, calcinated petroleum coke from a refinery. Third, pitch from a colliery. Then cryolite, a molten metal, acts as a electrolyte. Then aluminium smelter, and then it is produced and it requires the electricity amount 18,600 kilohertz per ton of ore. So these are the process of aluminium smelting for the aluminium production of products in the aluminium industry of India. After that, the chemical industry. We will continue it in the next video. Till then, you have to do your homework and understand the topic, that how it has done. Take care. Goodbye.